Welcome to Who Wrote That Up for You, a daily podcast that shines a light on the American justice system and its role in empowering the powerful to take from you. The justice system is the only branch of your government where an individual rather than the collective can make the system act for you. It puts power in the individual's hands, but it's broken and being used against you at a time when you need it most.
And we are live on Who Wrote That Up for You. Today is Monday, September 19th, 2022. I am Sonia Ebron, the co-founder at Courtroom 5.
And I am Deborah Sloan, the other co founder at Courtroom 5.
And we've got a fantastic show lined up for you today. We hope in a few minutes to speak with Mauricio Duarte. He is the justice entrepreneur at A2J Tech. A little later in the show, we'll speak with Yousef Kassim. He is the founder at Expunctions.com, a program to help people clear their criminal records. And so just really looking forward to that. Before we get there, though, Deborah, what's on your mind today? What is our issue of today?
My issue of the day is, in a broad sense, recognizing when you have a legal problem. Sometimes you can have a legal problem, you don't know how to deal with it, and you see a lot of big words being used around it, or actually, you don't find the big word that you need, and you're just kind of stuck there. One of the things I came across is in Georgia is something called non-consensual towing, and that is that people experience on a regular basis. It's not just in Georgia; it's in a lot of places in the country, of having their car towed, and they sometimes can't find their car. Sometimes they get the car, they never get the car back, or they have to pay these huge amounts just to get the car back. And if you understand some of the concepts or some of um, the wording, the words, the terminology that the government is using for things like towing, you might have a better experience with it. But non-consensual towing, I mean, people don't think to look that up to find out. Well, if it's non-consensual towing, the rules are different than if it's, I guess, consensual towing. So that's my issue of today is basically recognizing a problem and being able to address it.
That is amazing. I have never heard of that. I am I'm struggling to think about the times when towing of my car has been consensual. I would never think of anything like that. But you remind me, the Legal Services Corporation publishes a justice gap report every few years. And the most recent one was only a month or two ago. One of the key findings, though, as I recall in that report, is that many situations that we have in our lives have a legal solution, something that can be resolved, through the
Mhm.
legal system. But if you don't recognize that, then you don't use the legal system, the court system, as a way to protect your rights or further your interest. And this is one of those situations I would not know to ask or to think about. Is okay. I want my car back. Is it consensual? Is it non-consensual? How do you even think about that? And how do if I knew to ask the question, maybe I'd figure out how to get the right rules, and use that process. But I would not know to ask that question. That is unfortunate. Anyway, we can ramble on about that. I do appreciate you bringing that up. That is hilarious. As you all know, Who Wrote That Up for You is sponsored by Courtroom 5. At Courtroom 5, we believe the courts belong to the people, in particular, the people who use them. And we the people are coming to claim our courts. So if you're in court without a lawyer, or if you need to sue someone and can't afford legal representation, get yourself over to courtroom5.com. Try it for free and see if it may provide a solution for you. We'd love to help you protect your rights. At this time, I am pleased to bring onto our show Mauricio Duarte at Go at Access to Justice Tech, A2J Tech. Mauricio, welcome to Who Wrote That Up for You. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you, Sonia, for the invitation and glad to see you again.
Good to see you as well. Just briefly, tell us what you do there at A2J Tech.
Yeah, so A2J Tech is a digital agency and consulting company on the legal technology space. But in specific, we focus on access to justice issues. That's why the acronym A2J, so access to justice. And our main, let's say, focus is how we can help legal aids, law firms, and legal technology companies to create better solutions, accessible solutions in a digital world. So that is a bit of what we do at A2J Tech. My role started as a justice entrepreneur, basically exploring new projects, new ideas, partnerships, and now I'm the COO. It comes with more stress, but I'm happy to be in that position.
Absolutely. And I know the entire team is happy to have you in that position, though. I know you've thought a lot about access to justice issues from some previous conversations and some of the work you've done. Tell me, what does it mean to you? What does access to justice mean?
Yeah, so this is always a question that I like to tackle because I would say sometimes I am an attorney myself, and I remember when I used to work at a big law firm, I used to work in dispute resolutions at that moment, and I always thought access to justice means access to courts. But after being in the legal tech space for almost 5 years now, my mind has shifted, and it's access to
Mm.
justice is broader than that. It's a larger concept. So sometimes we have, for instance, the justice gap report from LLC that the last number is 92%. They are not getting enough legal help and services. But sometimes we're only focuses on the delivery of the legal service or on the ability to go into courts. When sometimes access to justice
Mhm.
is broader than that. It's like we are not measuring enough access to legal education. We are not measuring if people can understand their basic rights. You might say the Constitution exists, yes, but who really knows what are the implications of a given right? If someone, let's say you're in a police interaction, what does the rights behind that entail? So there are many let's say, dealings in your day-to-day life that have an access to justice component. So it's not only access to courts, it's not only access to legal services from an attorney at a affordable rate, or it's not even access only to digital solutions, but it encompasses something bigger, making, let's say, law schools affordable or accessible to other people that historically cannot access law schools. Law schools are very expensive. For instance, I can tell, let's say, how expensive it is. That's why I needed to go into a law firm in order to pay my student loans. And I know many colleagues are in the same spot. So sometimes it's bigger than that. It's rethinking the system and the justice system as it is not only in the U.S. but around the world. Again, I wasn't born here in the U.S. I come from Guatemala, that is a underdeveloped country with a lot of corruption, and I have seen the real struggles around the world in general. That if you don't have a good system, legal system in general, if you're creating more obstacles, that also presents additional layers of problems. Development as a person, economic development. So the justice component and the access to justice is more important, and it's more than just a legal concept. It's a social and even economic concept that I think we haven't given enough attention to at this point, Sonia.
It is clear to me, just listening to you, that you've given this a lot of thought. And I absolutely, certainly ascribe your immigration background and history to some of your understanding there. I really appreciate you sharing that and those thoughts, because you're absolutely right. It's not just about access to the courts or to the litigation process or anything like that. It is access to full development as a human being in your descriptions. I really appreciate you making that point. So you are or were before your current role the justice entrepreneur at A2J Tech, and I know as a part of that work and probably continuing, you've helped the organization explore the potential for no code software
Mm.
development tools there. So I know that you all are developing something of a reputation around no code development in legal tech. Tell us what you know about no code and the no code movement, right? And just the potential that it has for the future of legal tech.
Yeah, and this is something that I'm very passionate about. And the question is why? Because I always was sold that in order to be successful in the legal tech or tech space, you needed to know how to code. But I think with the latest set
Mm.
of technologies and the latest trend, that is the no code trend, that if you go into Google and you just search no code, you're going to see a massive amount of information. And many of the metrics even suggest that the new developments, new, let's say, successful startups are going to be built on no code platforms, meaning platforms that you don't need how to code from scratch, but you only need to understand how it works. It's like understanding how my Microsoft Word works. It has a steep learning curve at the beginning, but once you're used to it, you can build uh, awesome stuff, even on an Excel spreadsheet. That basically, up until this day, I'm a very rookie using Excel spreadsheets. But once you learn a technology, you are, let's say, understand the capabilities, the features you can build, very comprehensive and, let's say, complete products on a digital space. So there are many no-code tools that we use on projects that we have used for clients and for legal aids. And what happens with no-code tools is that it creates two added benefits that sometimes we're missing. One, it reduces the amount of investment that you have to do at the beginning. So if you're starting or ramping a startup or a legal tech startup, the one thing that you want to do is prototype and test out your product instead of spending thousands and thousands of dollars or raising capital. You want to test something. So no code now becomes that avenue to quickly iterate, prototype, and test something on the market. And the second added benefit of building on no code is that on the medium to long term is self-sustainable, meaning that changes can be made quickly without a coding background, as long as you have documented instructions on what to do with the system, how to change certain things. You don't need to be an expert. So again, no code is not necessarily for every single thing. No code has its potential, it has its market share. There's going to be a lot of developments, more platforms on the no code space are going to continue to grow. So I just invite anyone that thinks, as I thought years back, that you needed to know how to code in order to build creative and new solutions. Let's say reframe that thinking and just think now we are evolving to such a capability that without any programming background, we can build new, accessible, and comprehensive legal tech solutions or products that can exist in the market.
That's really extraordinary. And thank you for that explanation. Lucio, I'm thinking that, in the past, you used to do wireframes and you come up with a prototype that maybe halfway worked, might be good enough to demo your solution to investors and that sort of thing, and partners, maybe employees, so that you could collect the resources necessary to then build the real thing. And as I'm listening to you describe the no code operation there, it seems to me that oftentimes your no code solution goes a lot further than a prototype. You could actually deliver services, go a long way towards revenue or even past that using a no code solution. Have I got that right?
Yeah, and I would say many of the clients that we have worked with, worked for, we have used many no-code tools. And what happens is sometimes in the progression of their startup and their growth is let's say, the cycle of the no-code was until a Series A or a Series B of financing. Now we are ready to develop our own platform, but sometimes no-code serves that purpose. Is let's just settle your product, let's start delivering the service or the experience that you want to create. And if you want to move away from that and have your own system, the control of your own platform, that's completely okay. But no code allows you to do that, to grow to a certain extent. And depending on your scalability, your metrics, some other considerations, you can take it to a different platform. You can create your own platform, or you can continue no code. It's going to depend on the different stakeholders, interests, market share, many other components. But yes, the statement that you have made is quite accurate, and I think there's going to be even more growth on the no code technologies. That's one of the, if you even search on Twitter the hashtag no code, you're going to see a bunch of trending tweets on how no code, the new trends, the new solutions that are coming out in the market.
That's extraordinary. And I talked to, just in the business we're in, a number of entrepreneurial lawyers, people who are interested in closing the justice gap. And they oftentimes have very novel ideas for justice tech solutions, but aren't familiar with ways to realize those solutions, to make them, right? They wouldn't know how to hire a software engineer or anything like that. And so the solutions that you all are developing there at A2J Tech might be right down their alley. If I understood, you provide your services to law firms, perhaps to legal aid agencies. What sorts of organizations are you serving with these solutions?
Yeah, so we have three distinctive audiences because they have different needs, but the main focus of us, because of access to justice, are legal aid and nonprofits because they truly deliver legal services, and sometimes they have limited budgets. So by using no code, we can, let's say, get the best out of their budget and deliver best experiences in class on a digital space. The second audience that we serve are legal technology companies that sometimes they don't have either a development team or they're just starting from scratch. They haven't had experiences in the digital building a product, user testing. So we also help legal technology companies. And on the third and the final side are law firms. Law firms usually require our services more on developing their own internal tools or solutions. Few of them have gone to the actual, what do we call, extrapreneurship, meaning outside of their law firm. But that's the third, let's say, segment that we serve. And just as a final, let's say, data point, I remember that I read an article in TechCrunch last week, and it was about no code. And it says that by 2024, it is expected to account for 60% of all application development and generate 187 billion in revenue. So that is just one metric. Again, I think the article in TechCrunch was something no code platforms, why they're here and why they matter. I think that's the name. But if someone wants to learn more, TechCrunch is usually one of the biggest names on the tech space that also talks about no code.
Fantastic, fantastic. That is extraordinary. Mauricio, very briefly, where can people find you online?
Yeah, so our website is www.goa2j.com, or you can follow us in social media. We have our Twitter channel at goa2jtech, or on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, just by searching A2J Tech. We, let's say, always happy to jump on a call, help with any project, or even question in general about some of the services, or even the problem attack. Sometimes we just have discussions about access to justice, experiences in other countries. So we're always happy to do that as well.
Thank you so much for joining Who Wrote That Up for You. We will have you back again soon. Thanks so much.
No, thank you. Take
You
care.
bet.
Bye-bye.
All right, fantastic. Deborah, who won our challenge for Friday?
All right, let me go over the question. You see, can you help me?
There you go. Well, yeah, let me handle this then, Deborah. I think you've got some camera problems there. It looks like the question on Friday was, in the law, what is an admission? And the best answer came from, it looks like Susan S. here. And her answer was, it's a statement acknowledging the truth of a fact. So absolutely want to thank Susan S. for that answer. Fantastic, fantastic. And Deborah, if you're able to, do you have today's quiz? All right. Well, then let me help you there
Sure,
as well.
I have it. What today's quiz is: what is an affidavit? If you want to participate in the quiz, send your responses to quiz@courtroom5.com.
All right. Fantastic. Well, thank you for that. Deborah, it looks like you do have some video challenges there. But let me bring on to the show now Yousef Kassim. I think I'm pronouncing that right, Yousef. We talk
Can you hear me?
frequently. Yes, I can hear you just fine there. Can you hear
Alright.
me? Hi, Yousef. We can hear you okay. Can you not hear us?
Try without the headphones. Can you hear me now?
I hear you perfectly.
Yes.
Fantastic. Hope
Okay,
you're
awesome.
well.
Hey,
Great to
Sonia.
see you.
Hey, Deborah. Good to see y'all.
Fantastic. Yusuf, you are the founder of Easy Expunctions. And so, if you would, tell our audience what's an expunction?
Yeah, so an expunction is a legal remedy that's available to individuals based on relevant state law that affords you two main rights. One is the right to deny that that arrest ever occurred. Two is the right to prohibit possession or distribution of that information by others. So it's a really powerful tool for folks who are eligible. It allows them to deny on job applications and such that the arrest ever occurred, and then it prevents it from showing up in a background check because nobody's allowed to have it.
Fascinating, fascinating.
Yeah.
And so, this is available to some people who have criminal records and want to remove them or meet certain qualifications. What are the consequences of not getting your record expunged?
So having a criminal record impacts almost every aspect of an individual's life. So 90% of major employers run background checks today. And so if you're looking for a job, chances are that having something on your criminal record could hold you back. Also housing. And so anytime you apply for housing, a background check is typically involved. Causes damage to your reputation and your self-esteem. And so, with the increased digitization of criminal history information, with the nature of this type of information being public record, um, you're really just a Google search away. And so, we find that a lot of folks who have something on their record are self-selecting themselves out of opportunities because they feel that why even put in the time or the effort when I know that I'm going to be rejected because of something on my record.
Wow, that's a significant life limiting situation there for folks who serve their time. Very unfortunate, but I'm really happy to hear that you have a solution to that. Let me help us understand what is hard about getting your record expunged that would create an opportunity for easy expunctions.
Yeah.
Sure. And so, one, identifying what's on your record. And so, a lot of people don't know what's on their record. I know that I was one of those people when I got arrested and my charge was dismissed. I had no idea that that record continues to follow you and that your mugshot is still there, that you're going to have to sit there and answer questions about it after the fact. And so, just knowing what's on your record, I think is tough sometimes. And then two, a lot of folks, even if they're aware of what's on their record, they're not aware of if they're eligible under the law. And so um, then, if you are aware of what's on your record, you are aware if it's eligible to be removed. The process can oftentimes be difficult for pro se litigants, and so understanding, what are the information and legal documents that need to be filed. Where does this need to be filed? What does this process look like? What supplementary information do I need to include in that? And then once that's done and you have that judge signed order and you've made it through the court process, which can take months, um, finding all the private entities that possess your information can be like playing whack-a-mole. You have this judge signed order that, affords you those two rights we talked about earlier: right to deny, right to prohibit. But if folks don't get the memo, then they're not going to delete that information. And so we've developed a tool that allows individuals to run a free nationwide background check to see what's on your record. For low cost of $10, you can see whether you're eligible or not to have something removed. And so no matter how many charges you have, you can run them through and we'll let you know. You have no obligation at that point, but if you are eligible, we provide a cost-effective solution for you to get it done. We'll generate your legal documents. We'll file them for you electronically. If you have any questions along the way, you give us a call. And then we wrap that around with complete consumer protections. And so we say that you're either going to win or you're going to get all of your money back. And then once that's done, we send notice out to hundreds of different private companies. And so it's the cheapest, fastest, most comprehensive solution for individuals that are seeking to clear their records.
And again, this is for something that is a life-limiting circumstance, and you are creating an opportunity to broaden their horizons. Really, really valuable for people. Yousef, I'm going to put your website up on the screen. Where, though, can people find you online?
So you can find me online at LinkedIn or Twitter, Yousef Kassim. It's just my first initial last name on Twitter. And then you can find Easy Expunctions at Easy Expunctions on Twitter. And we're on LinkedIn as well. You can go directly to our website, easyexpunctions.com. Wherever you're at, you can get a free nationwide background check and just be able to understand what's on your record and if there's something we can do to help you.
That's extraordinary. I should also mention that Easy Expunctions, along with Courtroom 5 and a couple other organizations, are founding members of the Justice Tech Association. Ooh. Yes. Make all of these solutions more available to people. And so really appreciate your partnership and fellowship there. Thank you so much, Yousef. We'll have you back to explore some of these issues in detail, but just really happy to have you and have your solution available to people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deborah. I really appreciate being on here today.
Our pleasure. Thanks. Wow, that is fantastic. I could have spent hours talking about these solutions, Deborah, with both of these gentlemen. Just really valuable solutions we've got here. I think in the interest of time, it's probably best for us to wrap. But would love to have both of them back for larger conversations. That's all we have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday, September 19th. And we will see you again tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.
Are you feeling beleaguered, angry, or afraid, as if things are spinning out of control and you're powerless to stop them? It's easy to just let things slide and hope they don't get worse. But they often do get worse. The thing is, you're not powerless. Our courts belong to us, and their purpose is to give power to the powerless. Don't let your grievances pile up without redressing them. You can handle this in court. Or, if someone takes you to court, you can take them to school.